The Football Terrace and Jurgen Klopp are proud to present to you our brand new sponsor, SPITCH, the ultimate football fantasy manager game. It's available now to our audiences in the UK and Ireland. Download using our exclusive link in the description below or in the live comment section. Check it out. Welcome back to another episode of the Top Six. A little earlier than usual because Tottenham are playing later on this evening. We'll be live after that as well. We have got an elite panel tonight. Jess is back. She's not watching weird average football on a Monday. She's been covering LAFC most Mondays, watching the MLS. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but she has been.
I'm getting paid. There you go. There you go.
Paid to watch the MLS, but Jesse's back with us today. KJ's back as well after his little hiatus doing his thing. Daniel's back looking happy. Patrick's looking nervous. And of course, Callum is like the cat who's got the cream. How's everyone doing though? We all good?
Yeah, good, man. I'm excited for our game tonight. Yeah, let's go. Put the pressure back on Arsenal. 3 points, baby. Let's go. Let's go.
Terry, loving the intro and the sponsor as well. Loving that. Well done.
I know. Man like me and
you. Partnering up with class right there. But I rate it.
That's good.
Honestly.
Good app as well.
Honestly.
We'll talk about it later.
Can we end the season now? Just end it now. End it now. You know what I mean?
Fun.
Put us out of our misery so we can go again.
We still need our 3 points on the weekend, so no, I can't end it just yet.
We're going to start with Man United then, I think. So we've got loads to delve into today, by the way, viewers. We're speaking Man United's game, Rashford wanting to leave, the leaks are back again. We will be talking title race after big wins for City, and Liverpool just, a little bit of lady luck on their side, but looking potent right now. And then we're going to have a bit of a young player debate because Arsenal are flying. Top four race is going to come up in conversation, but there's been some big claims in the past 24 hours by Arsenal fans that Bukayo Saka is the best young player in the league, and in fact, according to some gooners, is clear of Trent Alexander-Arnold and Phil Foden. So we're going to get onto that a little bit later on in the show, talking about some of the best youngsters in the league, who are they and whatnot. So stay with us, don't go anywhere. But Man United is the starting point. I mean, who wants to pick this up? Because I don't really want to talk about it. So go on then, Cal. Fire away.
Growing up as a kid, you guys were the dominant force, and I'll be honest, you've given me a lot of anguish in my childhood. So seeing this happen now is nothing short of sensational. But I do think there's another step where it could get even better for rival fans and even worse for you guys. But I do think you're in that period at the moment where you're finally poised, where things can either improve like they did for other teams, or you could go a route where you literally become a mid-table club. I think this summer is key for you guys. I think, if I'm going to be honest, I kind of think you got to write this season off. Whether you get top four or not, I think you got to write this season off because it's not what you guys would have expected at the beginning of the season. Like, even myself, I did not have you guys being in a top four race. I thought you'd finish fourth, but I thought you'd finish fourth easily. That being said, you're in a position now where you might not get top four. If you get Europa League, I think it's going to hamper you guys. And you have to now get your decisions right, from manager to player acquisition to style of play and philosophy from top to bottom. Because I'll be honest, from the outside looking in, it's phenomenal. But for you guys, it must be absolutely just disgusting to see this. I enjoyed that. Sorry.
Yeah, Cal, I agree. You said, now we need to write the season off. No, the season's been written off, fam. From the moment Ollie did his madness at the start, it's been written off. Like, we were hopeful. No, Daniel, no. We were hopeful when Ragnick came in. Like, for instance, to turn around. But the proof was in the pudding. Like the results we played better in terms of we had more structure, we looked more solid, but the results just weren't coming. And all the draws have killed us, you know what I mean? And then when you come up against a team that is far superior than us, because Man City are, we just get shown the levels, and we've got a long way to go. And this summer is crucial. Like, this summer is the tipping point. Part of me feels like, if we don't get this right in the summer, we are Everton. You know what I mean? We are Crystal Palace. We are all these teams, Brighton, whoever you want to say, Burnley. We are all of them. We're just basically like them, trying to be in the Premier League, seeing as high how high we can get, and that's what we will end up to be. So, and if you want to answer for it, then there's a conversation to be had. But many people don't want that because it's not Man United fans screaming and shouting, calling their players crap. You know what I mean? Like there's genuine reasons why we are here, but is that conversation, people ready for that conversation? Do you want that conversation? That's up to you guys, isn't it? But I know the reasons why we are in our disposition, and I know that it's going to take a lot for us to even sniff. And I'm not talking about being back as in like you're winning, even just sniff being back, even just sniff the top, it's going to take a lot because you've got 2-3 teams who are far superior.
Look, I get what you're saying, innit? And I totally understand that you think, or that, do you know what? I would even say it's the common consensus that Ollie left you guys in a bad way and whatnot and da-di-da-di-da. Let's not move like you weren't in a position to still secure fourth when Ragnick came in. Fourth was still up for grabs. And yes, you weren't in the greatest of ways, but one of the consistent arguments from a lot of United fans, Terry included, yourself included, was when a better, more competent manager came in, we were going to be able to finish in the top 4. That was what was said. And for a lot of rival fans, we also believed that you were in pole position for 4th position when Ragnick came in because you had the best squad. Like we said Arsenal, yeah, fair enough, the form was there. But at this point, Arsenal weren't in this imperious kind of form that they're in right now. Tottenham hadn't got Conte yet, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So
No,
Man United were... I can't remember in it.
No,
Maybe
Conte,
that content.
They got them first. Yeah.
Yeah. Some people said 4th for Tottenham because they have Conte, but a lot of people, including myself, said Man United because we felt Ralph Rangnick was competent and I felt you still had the best squad. What we're seeing now is a lot of things unraveling, and obviously a lot of United fans have revealed the stuff like the leaks that have been coming out. I mean, you've got a former world-class striker, but still a competent striker who's got unaccounted absences of leave. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know why Cavani's not playing. I don't understand that. I'm sorry. I know he's leaving, but it doesn't make sense.
We know why. That's just true. I did say it, and I stand by it. I believe this squad, with Ralph as manager, should be good enough to qualify for the top 4 from when he came in. In fact, we've dropped 8 points in games against Villa recently, Southampton, Burnley, and there's another one, Watford, where we were by far the better team. Abundance of chances, barely conceded opportunities at the other end. A moment of madness, literally 5 minutes of madness in the Aston Villa game cost us. Add those 8 points onto where we are now, and we're still very much in this. So putting all other things aside, those 4 games are key. But the Cavani thing is a component of this. The Rashford leaks today, which we'll get onto, are a component to this. Player power is rife at the football club. They don't like being told what to do. Those stories that came out, that top reds everywhere, and I even include some people part of the terrace, the likes of Danny and people like that, they're always out there saying the media are lying about these stories. Do the media sensationalize? Do they get everything right to the absolute T? Maybe not, but there is no smoke without fire. And I think Ralph's come in and realized this is an even bigger job than he imagined. I'm seeing people turn on him like, oh, he was a terrible appointment. Why is he here? He shouldn't go upstairs now. It's like, oh, you lot are all off your rockers. You were again letting the Glazers off the hook. This is 9 years of poor running that is absolutely coming to a head. And Cal's right. It could get worse before it gets better, because if Ten Hag does come in like he's heavily linked to, the way he plays and the types of players that we've got, it's a start of another brand new 2 to 3 year rebuild, where you've got teams like Arsenal in the ascendancy, Man City and Liverpool at the peak of their powers, and Chelsea in a very good position. We may go backwards again before we move forward. We could improve instantly and look much, much better, but we could go backwards again before we go forward. Our fan base doesn't have the patience to actually focus on the real problems. It will be managers out, players out before you know it. I tweeted about it today. In the last 9 years, it's been sell Fellaini and we'll improve. Sell Rooney and we'll improve. Sell Zlatan and we'll improve. Sell Mkhitaryan and we'll improve. Sell Lukaku, we'll improve. Now it's get rid of Rashford or get rid of Bruno or get rid of Maguire and we'll improve. It's just incessant. And we did move forward. We were in a better place over the last couple of years, but we haven't been able to maintain it because we continually make mistakes. And of course, Ralph picked the team yesterday. Of course, the players yesterday were cowards. They were cowards. When City turned the heat up, they hid. And I'm talking all of them. I watched the game back last night, like an idiot, really. But McTominay hiding. And this is what annoys me. You get United fans that hate McTominay that will go on about him hiding. I'm like, bruv, a £90 million midfielder in Pogba also hid in that second half. What did he do? And he's superior. The thing is, I'm much more angry with Pogba than McTominay because he's a better. Am I right in saying Pogba's a better player than McTominay?
Oh, come on, all day long.
What I make is this. I'll give you an example here. If Emil Heskey misses a sitter and Thierry Henry misses a sitter, who's it worse for?
Henry.
Exactly. But we've changed the narrative of my shit. I need really bad. Nearly said a really, really bad swear word then. At this very poorly run Lady Park Football Club, right? At the end of the day, these fans are more focused on the average players than they are the bigger and better players not being very good. The whole thing is backwards, and we are in the mud. We deserve the banter, and I'm at a point now where United fans have got to stop throwing salt at other clubs. I'm still seeing fans tease Arsenal, teasing Tottenham.
No,
Look,
but
it's pathetic.
no, but
Pathetic.
Terry, my thing is though. I mean, look, KJ, I'm looking at you. You guys have to take some responsibility. Obviously, well, think first. Let me land first. You have to take some responsibility in the fact that, of course, we as fans, we really can't do anything in it. But of course, we can protest the owners, all of that kind of stuff. I understand that, but I'm talking about in what we say. When I was telling you that a guy like Paul Pogba isn't held to a high enough standard, can't be considered this world-class, world beater of a player if he isn't perform. Like, you can't. And we all know the ability he has, but you can't tell me that this guy is a world-class player when he doesn't show up on a consistent basis.
He is a world-class player. He is.
I'm going to come back around.
I know what you're saying.
There's a flip side.
Okay, go on.
He's not. I'm not scapegoating him. Please.
That's not what I think you're doing. That isn't how I'm hearing it.
Oh, how are you hearing it?
I'm hearing it this way. Our squad is talented. We are very, very talented. They all are. They're top class. We don't, and this is why fans who keep going on about this annoy me. We don't have the mentality to deliver. It's mentality with us. We do not have the fight within us to get up and move it. And a lot of United fans, the ability merchants, hate that phrase because they're like, well, it's not all about passion and desire. It is. When you've got quality, you need that to go to that next level in the big games. The reason that Liverpool run through us and the reason City run through us, yes, they have more quality than us. But I've seen in recent games, West Ham, who don't have more quality than us. I've seen Brentford, who don't have more quality than us. I even saw Norwich the other day in the FA Cup give more of a fight to Liverpool and City than we did. And we're better than those teams. We have absolutely zero fight in these players. And that's been developed over 9 years. And there's a comment here from Nez who says, Terry is a top bred and he's all over the place. Never sat on one opinion. I have the most consistent opinion on Manchester United out there. Even when I think things are improving, even when I think things are going backwards, even when players are killing it, even when players are struggling, I hold the ownership and the running of my club to account. And I never let him off the hook. So, Nez, nice try, but you are blocked, my friend, for lying. You've done it on
Twitter. Wow.
Jeez. I don't lie. Yo,
say the line. Say the line.
Don't lie about me on my show. And at the end of the day, and say what quality. And I'll tell you what quality, Captain Sal, because you've been watching my show for many years now. I remember your comment at the beginning of the season saying, Terry, it would be a disgrace for Man United fans to play down the quality of this squad and not say they should be challenging for a title. So rival fans also can't suddenly now pretend that you all said we were this terrible team at the start of the seaon that shouldn't even be in the top 4 race.
Captain Sal's one of us though, so let him off your tail. But
the point is that everybody wants to move the goalposts. I'm not. I know what I said this team should have delivered, and I'm not sitting here saying our squad lacks quality. That for me is a weak cop out. The most Reds that are saying that right now, go check it. They were the Reds 18 months ago going, do you know what? If we had Pochettino, we'd win the league. Now suddenly the whole squad needs an overhaul. You can't change your opinion that quickly. Mentality is wrong at Man United. Until fans wise up and learn what football is really about. Ability only takes you so far. Quality only takes you so far. The rest of it is hard work, perseverance. When you watch City and Liverpool, and I use them as examples, the perseverance in defense and the dedication to the attack to keep going. Mahrez yesterday, he weren't getting a lot of change for large parts of the game. Walked to have a brace because he didn't stop. Man United players, 2 or 3 attempts at taking a man on doesn't happen. You don't see him again for 30 minutes. Cowards, a lot of them, cowards.
Yeah, and just to go off back of that as well, like you got the other side where people are like, well, just passion can't get you over the line, and that's also true. But the issue is we need both, and we have players that either have one or the other, and not both. You got someone like, example, Scott McTominay, passionate player, mentality, tries, he does everything, he keep going. Has he got the quality to be considered the best midfielder or one of the best midfielders in the league? You got to question that.
Best player right now, and he's living his passion. So.
You know what I mean? You got Paul Pogba, all the talent in the world, like what amazing on his day. But you can question: does he have the passion, the desire, and all these things to move forward? And we need players with both.
Everybody just boils it down to one or the other, and you do need both. And this is what you get: the two stupid groups. Pogba's much better than McTominay. Yeah, but McTominay works harder. Yeah, they both need to fuck off. Why don't they understand this? They both need to either go or improve on what they're not good at. It's both. This weird polarized nature of Man United fans. It's honestly sickening. I'm done. Anyone else want to go?
Jess has been waiting, smiling.
I ain't got nothing to say, really.
I
mean, y'all already said everything. Like, we know what it is. Like, it's very clear what the issues are there. And long may it continue, you know? Like, a bad Man United is good for the rest of us. I'm not going to sit here and act like, oh, it'd be great. Like, if you guys got it together, what I will say is that, Terry, we talked about this, I think it was yesterday, that you have one little bright spot, and that's Jadon Sancho. That's who you guys need to build the team around. He's your best player. Like, I mean, Rashford is sell him to PSG. Like, sell him, let him go. Like, you know, because Sancho needs to be the guy that you guys build that team around because he's actually good.
He does.
Just try not to destroy him.
But this is my point.
We will.
If we don't change the structure, forget the manager. The manager is irrelevant without structure. If we don't change our structure in 18 months' time, how we're talking about Sancho and Rashford and Bruno is how we'll be talking about Jadon Sancho. How do I know this? History's on my side. We've done it for 9 years consecutively. Memphis was a baller when he came in. We got Falcao. We got Di Maria. We got Schweinsteiger. We got Schneiderlin. Oh, Darmian looks like a young Gary Neville. I've been making content since this all started. I remember some of you were literally no pubes, no facial hair, probably no internet at your home, restricted to an hour a day. I've seen all this before. We are going to go, if we don't change the structure, that's the direction we're going to go in. On Rashford, though, I want to ask you, Jess, as if by magic, United lose a game. Rashford's on the bench. Gary Neville said that every time they're at Old Trafford and a player is dropped, phones start ringing of journalists, stories come out, a little bit of self-preservation within them always. The timing is Rashford is essentially frustrated that he's not getting game time. He's still being professional. He wants clarity, but he may be looking to leave. What's your take on this news clearly coming from Rashford's camp? Because Fabrizio said it came from someone close to Rashford that he wants to leave the football club. I mean, what's your take on him wanting to leave? And secondly, the timing of this story coming out.
I guess what's so funny to me is that he's such like a unlikely villain. And that's probably why like a lot of Man United fans are like, what? You know, the guy that feeds the homeless and does his thing and, you know, is kind of lauded for all the things that he does off the pitch, which are great. Obviously not saying that it's not. Also somebody that came through their academy is literally the villain. He is. Like, he's the guy that's in there doing the nasties. Like, I really think he's in there just like, I seen him on the bench and he was talking to, you know, Jesse Lingard. You know, they're obviously showing them to try to show that something was going on. And I was like, these guys are up to no good. Like, they just really aren't. And it was obvious that Rashford was leaking stuff because I think at one point they started dropping him, and all of a sudden he spends all this time, you know, doing extra training and all this kind of stuff. What is that? What is that? It was like so obvious from there. So I think people just have to understand, like, stop thinking that, you know, what you're seeing or what's being told to you is the truth. Just use your common sense. Rashford is in a very difficult position. He was somebody that was like a favorite, you know, always playing. People like 2 seasons ago were saying that he could potentially be world class. Now nobody knows what he's up to. He's in self-preservation mode. It's embarrassing. I mean, this is somebody who came through your academy. Like, if Bukayo Saka did this in a couple of years, it would be shameful. Like, I would be so embarrassed. And so at this point, I just think he's in that camp of people that, like, he's just got to go. Like, I just don't see, like, I don't get it. And I know that some people be like, well, let the new manager come in and all this kind of stuff. But, like, he's just feels like somebody that's going to cause issues if he's not playing. Like, he doesn't have the wherewithal to just kind of like keep your mouth shut, not try to make it about you, you know, work hard. It's almost like he wants like people to kiss his ass or something like that. Like, just because he's been in the academy and stuff, you have not improved for years. You haven't. And maybe he feels disgruntled. Maybe he feels disgruntled a little bit because he was made to play when he was kind of injured and all that kind of stuff. But football is cutthroat, you know, and you're just out here bumping gums, telling people that you're the best and all this kind of stuff when you're clearly not. And so I don't know. I think the sun is setting on him, like, for real. Like,
see, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that at all. Like, just because, pardon?
What don't you agree with?
I don't agree if you should just get rid of him now. You know what I mean? Like,
you guys are in a position where you're going to have to get rid of some of these characters. Like, you need to start shifting some of them out.
Yeah,
like, he might be one of them. It's not always the obvious ones. It's not. It's not just Pogba in them.
But the thing is, only because I don't think Rashford should get shipped doesn't mean I don't want anyone shipped. I know people need to be shipped. You know what I mean?
Why not him though?
But
what's the difference between him?
Because I've seen what Marcus Rashford has done for Manchester United in the times where we're coming up, and he has something there. He's got ability. He's got things there. He's got the.
We're not talking about the ability though. We're talking about the culture.
Yes, you know?
We need a cultural reset.
Let me finish the thing.
I don't know.
Let me finish the thing. So he's got all of that, and only just because he's going through like a difficult moment, which he's not reacting well to, all of a sudden you just abandon that in a player. I feel like if he stays at Man United, you can bring him back. I think there's a way back from Marcus Rashford. I know many people don't, which is fair enough. But I don't think you should just dash him away like that. I don't think that's.
I get your point. I get your point. But Fergie once said that United is a bus that waits for no man. And there comes a point with Rashford where he's got to put up or shut up. The same with all of them. And I'm harsher on the players that I believe have more ability. So I think Rashford, as I did Martial, are superior to Jesse Lingard. So when Jesse Lingard does a bit of a madness, I'm a bit like, yeah. And I'll give you an example, Cal. When you had, remember, was it that fullback you had, right back for a while? Flanagan. Flanagan was his name?
Yeah. What we doing?
No, what we doing there? Relevant point. When you have Flanagan,
why am I catching strays?
No, you're not. It's the point. When someone like Flanagan in your squad, like, did something a bit silly or said something you shouldn't, you guys care, but it isn't so important because they're not really a key part of your team. They're not a player that you guys hold up to a high regard. And Rashford's one of them for me. So I'm harder on Rashford than I am a fringe player of the football club. And I always will be. And Rashford is one of the leaks. And I know he's one of the leaks based on the stories that come out. And people have a weird way of interpreting when you say the word leaks. I don't think Rashford has shared the stories about Ronaldo. I don't think Rashford phones up a journalist and goes, oh, do you know what? Somebody was late to training by 20 minutes today. I don't think it's that. Rashford's leaks are always, how do I make, when Man United are in a bad place, how do I make myself look good? And that isn't professional. It's divisive in the dressing room. And it's embarrassing because your performances aren't matching all the stuff you're telling us that you're doing. You're not coming on against Man City and looking to try and change the game. You look like you're sulking. You look like you're throwing your toys out the pram. And Martial got a lot of stick for looking that exact same way. So for me, and I gave the stick to him, I'm giving the same energy to my favorite player, that's Marcus Rashford, because the football club's more important. And you are right, there may be a way back, but you don't come back by leaking your transfer story to the most trusted transfer journalist in the world. That's
I agree. I'm not absolving him of what he's done. What he's doing is wrong, and he literally needs to literally be quiet and just focus, take over. And see, it's a good thing. It's a good thing you're on the bench. It's a good thing you're taking the time out of the lineup. Take a flipping break, man. Like, you've been out here since 2019 trying to do your best for Man United, and then also lockdown happened, and then you've been doing up charity, doing up all these amazing things outside of football, and all of that will build up on you mentally and physically, and it shows. He looks slower, his decision making is off, he doesn't look the same. Take a break. He's reacting this in a negative way, which is not good. But I'm not saying just because a player goes through a period of bad form or bad spell, you just dash him, because if that was the case, flipping Liverpool fans would have got rid of Mane. You know what I mean? Liverpool would have got rid of Mane.
Wasn't out there in the streets.
Yeah, yes.
You know, like, do you know what I mean? That's what I'm saying.
You know what I mean? I know, but I don't. If
we're not talking about what he's doing on the pitch.
Oh,
you know, like, if it was just what he was doing on the pitch, like, you know what I mean? Can we take a vote? Can we take a vote? Who thinks Rashford can come back? Like, who thinks in the next 2 seasons Rashford will be there? Who thinks there's a way back?
I think there's a way back.
I think there's a way back.
There's a way back. And if you want me to be completely honest, Jess, you see all this thing be out in the streets, I don't flipping care. Honestly, Ronaldo being out there linking, I don't flipping care. I don't care. Like,
when I say be out in the streets, he's out there just
talking to journalists.
Talking to journalists. I don't care.
Yeah, but you should care, because this
is the way back, though.
This is player power in front of you, KJ. This is what's destroyed this football club over the last 9 years. One of the reasons. And the reason David said in the comment sections here, and he's right to a degree. He said, Rashford isn't the villain, Jess. He's just another symptom of the way the club operates. He is, but he's a grown man and has to be accountable for his actions. But the only way he becomes accountable is by the club changing how we operate, and for this behavior to become... There's zero tolerance for it. It's the next leak that happens. I don't care whether you're Ronaldo, Rashford, or McTominay. You're sold. You will be gone. There needs to be some ruthlessness back in this club.
Do you know what the flip side to it is, though? Besides the fact that, in my opinion, I don't think there's ever a way where I think player power no longer becomes a thing. Because, for example, let's even look at the best clubs. I mean, Pep sold Sane without an instant, and Sane was happy to leave. The same way, I believe, if Salah said, I want to go to Real Madrid right now, Liverpool would have no choice but to sell him to Real Madrid. That's my opinion. I don't know if it will happen, but that's just my opinion. But in terms of, if I am to do the devil's advocate to that side, when I look at a guy like Rashford, and even now you can include the Pogbas, even though I was against him in one debate, you can flip the other side and say that these players are players that had ability. They were good players. Rashford was very, very good when he was coming up. He showed a lot of promise and showed a lot of ability, got the caps for England and whatnot, the normal trajectory that he goes on. But then what was that one thing we said? I've forgotten who said it, whether it was a United fan or a journalist. But the fact that there are like a core group of players that Man United have spent money on and have paid for, and there have been no signs of development. You've seen them have the clear... Wait, what's funny?
Sorry, I've been sent a super chat, made me laugh. It says, in the words of Mary Poppins, oh, Super Callum goes ballistic. Terry's team's atrocious. That's actually quite funny.
That's good. That's
funny.
I know every word to that song because I played Bert in a school play of Mary Poppins. So I still know the words, mad, from when I was 11. Anyway, sorry, Dan, carry on, mate.
That's cool. But yeah, basically, essentially, what needs to happen, in my opinion, is I don't think it depends on, and again, it depends on what side of the fence you fall on. But I don't think it's wrong for Rashford.
Sorry, Dan, he's
trying to put him off.
Coming from a guy called Twisted, but yeah, that's fine. What's it called? I don't think guys like Rashford and Pogba should be blamed for wanting to take their career into their own hands. You look at a guy like Lukaku. Obviously, we're seeing him go on a very, very bad lull period at Chelsea, but he took his career into his own hands, went to Inter Milan, and he was seen as some sort of savior. So I don't think it's particularly wrong if Rashford thinks at the age I'm at now, with the development and the goals I've managed to score so far in my career, I might need to push for a move away from the club and rebuild something for myself.
I completely agree. We have some super chats here. First one says, hi, Terry. Man United 1, Tottenham 6 next week, and Ronaldo isn't injured. He's in Portugal on holiday. I have heard this. Best squad, Chelsea and United just have a lot of players, is what Aidan Andrews has got to say about that. Completely agree with Daniel. United fans would not have allowed Chelsea or Liverpool teams to have written off their season if the roles were reversed. Lazy narrative. Also, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Foden, Rice, Saka in that order.
A rival fan legit told us to write off the season. So that's
Yeah, who was that? Who was that guy?
In terms of the poll right now, here or live on YouTube, Saka's winning the poll with 40%. Only 28% think Trent is better than Saka. 40% of the viewers think Saka is the best.
Arsenal gate crashed that.
23 years old and younger. 23 years old and younger. Man United, 8% possession in the second half yesterday. Yeah, I mean, it's just
mad.
Embarrassing. United have been straight paraplegic for 9 years now. The year Manchester United get back to their best is the year my grandchildren gets pensions. My grandchildren get pensions. Aaron here says the weak-minded squad trickles down to the fans as well. I couldn't believe people had the audacity to still blame Ralph for the poor result. It's clear as day that the players don't have fight. It is true, and that's we were in the studio yesterday, and it was just, everybody could see it and everything else. Were United better under Ollie? At least they used to try when they went a goal down. So Martin, that was last season. Under Ollie last season, they did when they went a goal down. Ollie got sacked because this season he deserved to go. There's no doubt. And I think rewriting history and going back saying, should this manager come back? Should this guy have been here? You could take it right back to Moyes and be like, should he have stayed? Would he have been as bad as Ralph's been or whatever else? Ralph's an interim. And he's the director of football. When you're Ralph's age, what's Ralph's? 58, 60, 65?
No, 60s, bro. 60s.
When you're 60 odd, and this is the biggest job you've ever had, an interim role at Man United, you're not elite. You'd have already had a big job by now. He ain't done it. He's an elite director of football, and that's where he should go. Any other comments about that? Get super chats in. We can go back to it, people. Please make sure you're smashing that like button for us. Just to say that to come through. KJ, we have let better players in the past leave. If you think we can come back, he can come back where that same energy for others in the squad who have been poor also.
I do have that energy for other players in the squad, though. I've been fighting for Pogba for ages. I've been fighting for Martial for ages. I've been fighting for players for ages. So I don't get it.
I think, and maybe this is just like, okay, like coming from my perspective. One, I have no connection to Marcus Rashford. Like, obviously, I know he's a big player for England as well. So maybe there's a little bit of that, like wanting to give him another chance. I don't have that. So I'm a little bit like, just move him on. Like, but then also I've seen like 4, 5, 6 players leave Arsenal, and I've never felt better. Players that we felt like we could not breathe without, that our club was going to crumble down because that player was not there anymore. And it's the best thing ever. And sometimes they need a change too. And thinking about Marcus Rashford and his career, it may be best for him to go.
Yeah,
and best for you guys to move on.
If he leaves,
I'm saying,
and he wants to go, I'm not going to be here saying, "Oh no, that's it, we're finished." Like, he wants to go, man. I'm a big advocate for if players want to leave, just let them leave. You know what I mean? It's not that. It's just I personally believe that there's a way back for him. But if he believes there isn't, then cool, let him go.
Maybe, but I think Man United need to make a state. They need a Yap Stam moment. They need a Roy Keane moment where the club says, "We are boss." And I get Dan's point about player power will always have a part. But if Mo Salah was to ask to leave, I think it would be done in the Man United at Chelsea. A lot of players get to leave Chelsea when they've served their time well, they've been professional, and they essentially ask nicely to leave. The club goes, "Okay, we'll facilitate. We're not going to keep you against your will." But there's a way of doing things. Costa Cow here says, "Hi, Terry. I'm glad to be watching some football related. Ain't been about Doncaster. They lost another 4-0 battery. You got beat 4-0 worse than us, mate."
Hey, but I say we're the same thing, Donny, James.
Wow, look at that. Look at this. This is it's now 2 4-0s, a 5-0, and 2 6-0s this season. Oh, you're in the mud. I feel better now as a United fan at Doncaster in the mud. Wow. It's a joke. Listen, viewers, we are sponsored today by SPITCH. SPITCH are one of the best up-and-coming football fantasy games on the planet. This here, as you can see, is my team, and it's specific to tomorrow night's Champions League games. You'll see a player in the middle called Tavares. That's actually Fabinho because they use his real name on here. That is a team that I have picked. It includes Alisson and Trent and Robertson. There's a bit of Lewandowski. I think I put Diaz in there because I think Diaz is going to score. Jota, and it's pretty much unlimited as many players from one team as you want to have as well, by the way. I think it's going to be a nice open game. Get the app downloaded for free now. It's free to play. It's really, really fun. You can also join. The links are in the description below. My communities for Premier League and Champions League games. I make teams for the majority of the weekends and the majority of the Champions League games. We can compete against each other and join that mini league. Give it a download at the end of the stream. As I say, a fantastic app. It's available in the UK and in Ireland. And if you didn't know, it is sponsored. If I refresh this page, it might show it again. It may not. It should do. It is also the face. Jurgen Klopp is the face of this product, as you can see right about there. So go and get that done, people. And a lot of you like a bit of Jurgen Klopp, essentially.
The Kaiser.
The Kaiser. Speaking of Liverpool, I mean, this was a mad weekend. This was a mad weekend for football because I think Lanzini missed probably one of the worst misses in Premier League history. City bounced back and smashed Manchester United to keep this title race absolutely bubbling. I want to go to Patty first on this. He's been quiet for a bit. Where do you see this going? Because Liverpool look like they're in the ascendancy than me and some people. Others think City are just going to be too strong to catch. What's your head saying? Will Liverpool catch City this season?
I think if Liverpool beat them at the Etihad, then they win the league. I think it boils down to that. I think both teams will drop points, but that is a massive decider right now. And I think if Liverpool win that, they will have all the confidence. Man City, knowing that they've thrown away such a big lead. It's football is also a game of psychological warfare, and if Liverpool win that game, I do think that they will have the upper hand on them. But with all that being said, I still think City, it's in their hands, man. I know people are saying it's in Liverpool's hands, but it's not, because Man City, if things still go toe to toe, Man City are ahead of Liverpool, aren't they? But it's so tough. I never thought Liverpool would push City this year. I thought I thought City would walk it again. But credit to Liverpool, man. They've been fantastic, and they've actually given us an exciting, title run-in, instead of it just being almost like a Bayern Munich Bundesliga type of thing. It's actually exciting from top to bottom. So yeah, Callum, I see you nodding your head, but it's good to see, man. It's good to see, because usually at this stage of the season, it's all done and we're like, oh man. But this year, there's so much going on, and it's great to see. But to be fair, I'm almost going back on what I'm saying. I can't call it. I honestly can't call it, because Diaz coming in again, that's another game changer. He's come in and he's added another dimension to Liverpool. He's come in and I know he's only scored a goal, I think, against Norwich in the Prem, I think. But just looking at how he's impacting the game, the runs he's making, the problems he's causing for defenders, he's going to be a problem. So it's tight, man. It's hard to call. It's really hard to call.
Callum is so smug down there. Look at his face. Look at his face. Like the whole time you were talking, he was like,
I know.
Wait, Jess, you want to talk about smug? You've been sitting there all day just smiling, just like...
I feel no stress today. I feel zero stress today. I can't lie.
The thing I had is that we're praising Liverpool for being good challengers. Is that what we do now?
No, we're praising them for being a great team. They are.
Patrick, don't get drawn in by Daniel, man. Don't get drawn in.
So what I looked at was, I still think Man City are going to win it, but I think Liverpool, and this is Callum is gonna laugh. I know you are, but. You have the harder run-in on paper. You still have to play Arsenal, Spurs, and Man United. Slip up in those games.
That's a 3 points for them. That's
City don't have to play anybody in the top six. They don't. So they're gonna steamroll. But it's gonna come down to that game. You guys going up against each other, because that is going the mental. I think psychologically. Definitely. That could jack up one team or the other. And I think Liverpool are on the ascendancy, and Manchester City is just kind of doing their thing. So it should be interesting, but Liverpool look really good. So.
They are.
What are you saying, Cal? I know you have confidence in your team. A few people talking about how in recent games, in second half, you haven't been as good. You've leaked some chances and opportunities. City don't do that as much. You still let teams in the games. Do you feel like that element of, some call it lady luck or whatever it may be, do you think that coupled with your quality and progression is going to get you over the line? Or do you think it's something completely different?
That's a good question, Terry, to be honest. I'm not sure. So if I just answer this without joking about City, still in City's hands, I still have City as the favourites. And I disagree, Patrick. I actually don't think the game at Etihad is going to be the decider. If we win, I don't think that's going to be the game that decides it. I think from now to the end of the season, we have to match or better City's results. So if City lose next weekend, for example, we can afford a loss. But if City win and we draw, that's where it's going to start just ruining our title challenge. So I think if we match them, then I think we've got a conversation. But I don't think it's going to come down to that Etihad game. In regards to Liverpool leaking chances, so again, this is where it's a bit tricky because, and again, I'm not even trying to have a dig at anyone, but the more I do these shows with you guys, the more I'm understanding that I can only really go in hard on my team or go in easy on my team because I watch 90 minutes of my team regularly, where I don't do that for other clubs. So if I watch a game of Match of the Day, for example, they're going to show the main highlights of the game. So the game at West Ham, everyone said we got lucky in that. West Ham had the two clear-cut chances. One was cleared off the line by Trent, and Lanzini should have put his away. But if you actually watch the 90 minutes, we dominated that game, and we created a magnitude of chances. They just weren't as clear-cut as West Ham's potentially. So the narrative that we're lucky, I think, is wrong, but we've ridden our luck in a couple of moments. But at the same time, it's gone the other way around. There's been games where we've got draws, for example, where we've hit posts or been goal line clearances, or we've missed sitters as well. So I think it's two halves to the story. But as things go right now, City are looking excellent, Liverpool are looking excellent, and it's just a case of who cracks first. That's how, for me, that's how it's going to go.
Can I piggyback off of what Callum said just really quick on the chances thing? I do think he has like a really good point there, because I see this all the time. And like when you're watching a rival play, you tend to pay more attention to the chances that the other team gets. So it looks like it's closer than probably what it really is. But when you have a team that creates 20 chances in a game, you know, and maybe they only have like 8 on target or something like that, the other team, like especially when it's Liverpool, because they tend to open up because they back themselves to put you under pressure if you make a mistake. And you have these teams that come down twice and have two good chances. So you think, oh, well, you know, they had the better chances and they were really close. When you only have 2 chances in the game, you have to be so good. The only team that I know that can have 2 chances in a game and make them count, and that's all that they had, is Spurs. Every other team, if you only have 2 chances in a game, you're not going to be able to do it. So I think Liverpool are just so like, they back themselves. So you will look at West Ham and say, well, they should have scored that 1 chance. When you only allow a team to have 1 or 2 chances, unless they're elite, you're not going to make those. And so I don't think that makes them the better team. Liverpool is clearly the better team.
No,
so can I just jump off the back of that one as well, Justin? So, and here's where I kind of look at it. City, everyone agrees here, City battered Man United yesterday, right?
Yeah.
But let's not act like Sancho didn't have a chance where he could have made it level at one point, which could have changed the game. We all agree Arsenal were much more dominant than Watford, but Watford had chances in that game as well. Like every single game, the opposition had chances. Chelsea, for example, you guys battered Burnley, but look at before you guys scored the first goal, Burnley should have been 2-0 up.
How is the order of things? And when the order of things is, you know, I can't remember the quote. You know when you got the Joker sitting with Two-Face in the hospital, and it's like, you can kill all these types of people, no one cares, but you threaten to kill a mayor and everybody loses their minds. Liverpool tend to be more dominant in the first half and not so much in the second. So it throws everyone's heads. A lot of other teams, like Man City, Man United yesterday, the game was fairly even for large parts of the first half, but the second half, it went in the other direction. If you guys conceded those chances in the first half and then gave West Ham not a sniff in the second, people wouldn't say you were lucky. You're absolutely spot on. It's the order of play. And yeah, as a rival, you see those misses and think, wow, it could have been a very different game. But I remember it's why I'm backing Liverpool for this title.
Are you?
Yeah, I am now. And but people keep
saying, Klopp, what do you expect, man? He's working Klopp now.
Boy, that's what it is.
Exactly.
The quality rubs off, man. The quality rubs off. Tell him, Terry. Make yourself full screen, Terry. Go for it, bro. It's your show.
Hang on, I'm not jumping on Liverpool's bandwagon. I
don't. Daniel, get rid of the salt, bro. Add some sugar to your life, big man.
I got told the other day, right? That I'm doing it because I don't want City to win another title. I'm like, bruv, if Liverpool win it, they match our 20. Like, I don't want Liverpool to do this. I want Liverpool to choke. but I never come on the terrace and say what I want to happen as my prediction. I say what I actually think and feel, and I will not be bullied on my channel by you, Daniel, into doing
Tell him
things
again.
I don't want to do. Right?
Hey,
Let me give
honestly.
you, let me tell you why Man City will win this.
Go on,
First of all, in my personal opinion, and obviously it goes on to something that we said we were already going to speak about anyway, but Pep has Bundesliga-fied the Premier League. And if anyone doesn't want to believe that, then that's your business. What Pep has done and what he has created with this Man City team is crazy, regardless of the fact that, yes, you might want to call him a checkbook manager and whatnot. I saw Klopp come out with a quote today that everyone was just fantasizing about. He was like, if not for the fact that we were involved in the title race for the last 3 years, Man City would have won the title in February. So what? What? You're the best challenger to Man City's flipping title reign. Come on, man. Leave it, man. I'm not even trying to hear it. I'm not trying to. Yeah, sit up straight. You can sit up.
No. Hold on. What's going on here? What's going on here?
Let me finish.
Name land, because I need to.
I'll let you finish.
Cool. So I'm not going to praise. Liverpool are a fantastic team. I'm not going to praise Jurgen Klopp for being Man City's best challengers. Come on, man. We're either there to win or you're not winning. That's how it works in football. Cool. Now, why I believe Man City are going to win the titles, because I believe they're one of the best front-run. Pep has built one of the best front-running teams in the history of football. When Man City are ahead, they just steamroll it. It's a bit like when back in the day, obviously I would know this, watch Jose Mourinho go 1-0 up. If Jose Mourinho goes 1-0 up and brings on Mikel to shut up shop, it's done. Like, there's nothing you can do about it. And just for me personally, the way I look at this Man City team and the way that Pep has built a team that suffocates you, they make 1-0, they make a 1-0 loss feel like you just got beaten 6-0. They make it feel like that because of how much he suffocates you and whatnot. And obviously, I understand the points for Liverpool. I hear it. Obviously, we're bantering about of course, Liverpool are in the race, of course. And that's what makes it such a tantalizing race. However, just for me, I personally think that Man City are the best front runners and they'll win.
Yeah, same. Honestly, like if they didn't have their record of being in front in the league and just not losing, when's the last time a team beat them to the league and there was like a top for like a long period of time? Like you don't normally see that. Liverpool, when they won it, the best team in the league, but hands down, Man City didn't even close. Like when Man City were on top, though, you may chase them, but they've just got enough to get over the line. And Pep knows what he's doing. He's got a squad full of winners. Like for me, going off history and what's been happening, although Liverpool are picking up steam, I don't think that steam will be enough to stop Man City and overcome Man City, because it requires them dropping points, and that's hard.
It is hard. It is hard, but they choked at home to Tottenham. They were poor in their game against Southampton. I thought they were poor, even though they won 2-0 against Brentford. And I've got one of them feelings again. That the obvious thing isn't going to happen. It's going to be one of those obscurities, one of those not asterisks next to it, but it's going to be one of those moments where it's like, yeah, a team that was leading at a certain time that should have won the league didn't. A team that had a certain points gap doesn't win the league. Very much Newcastle leading by 12 points, United being written off, and Man United winning it. Now, I know this City team is better than that Newcastle team. I completely understand that. I just feel the trajectory of Liverpool, they just look like they've got the bit between their teeth right now. And City, with the Champions League pressures they've got, I just feel they look a little bit jaded at times. I really do. And that's not that yesterday they absolutely killed us, but at the same time, I don't think it's that hard really for a team with that quality and perseverance to do it. I've got a feeling. I just feel like it's going to be Liverpool. And in terms of celebrating Liverpool being great challengers, I don't really think it is that. I think Liverpool to come back from being as far behind as Chelsea were to now being like a 1 win away from leveling them on points in itself is fantastic. And I think they're going to go that extra mile. And Cal's bang on though. It's about that like for like. You have to match City's results up until that game at the Etihad. But I think you'll better their results between now and the Etihad game. And remember as well, we are forgetting this. Look, most penalties get scored, right? They should have drew against Everton. Look how bad Everton are. That's one of those things about hard work as well, by the way.
But see, that also speaks to City's strength, because they always find a way. Something always goes their way and to enable them to win these games.
That wasn't about them though. That wasn't about.
You get.
Sorry, Jess. Rodri didn't make a last second off the line clearance. He handballed it because they were panicking
Wait.
and they should consider the penalty. That isn't City being good. Like
No,
It's
no,
not
but
just
Terry,
about-
there's
it's not just about
signs.
they have. It's like I don't know, it's
Can't-
something in the
yes,
air that
let me
just
tell you
allows
what it
them
is.
to things to
Wait,
happen
the
for
judge,
them. It shouldn't be
wait, champion judge,
Let me tell
champion.
you know,
Yeah.
like
It's
not
Champions
really-
League. And the fact
yeah,
that Terry doesn't understand that when Fergie literally had.
But I do understand that.
Yeah.
But you're ignoring my overarching point.
No.
People keep talking about performances being the thing you should always focus on because that's the sustainability. City's performances in the last 4 to 5 Premier League games haven't been great, where Liverpool are getting better. And I think there's a little bit of nerves in that pack for whatever reason. I feel like it's there. They've lost Diaz now as an example. And if Man United had more perseverance yesterday, if they showed the heart that Everton did, the heart that Southampton did, the heart that Spurs did, we could have got something out of that game because for 28 minutes, we were in it and we were competitive and we were able to pass through them at times. And that's rare for Man United to be able to go there and do that. We collapsed and fell apart. But other teams could take note from that. And that's why I'm personally back in Liverpool. Aaron here says Daniel is clearly just salty because Chelsea couldn't challenge. Liverpool doing what they have to do. We look forward to proving you wrong, is what Aaron's got to say here. Dare I say it, Drifty? There's Liverpool will be the reason why City with Pep won't win the Champions League because City can't afford to lose focus on the Premier League. It's why I want City in the quarterfinals or semi-finals of the Champions League. I just love to be in the quarterfinals, to be fair. We're not there next year. 110%. Arsenal are taking that away from us. It's all coming to an end. Callum, respect for representing the champions elect with style. You'll never walk alone. This one here says Dan seems bitter. Spending 200 million don't get you as far anymore. It's okay. Chelsea up for sale has distorted your thought process, understandably.
Champions League isn't far anymore.
Distorted.
Wow, I didn't know that. The Champions League isn't far. Fair enough.
Nah, he's talking this season, so he's
He's
talking.
spending 200 million this season.
They're not going to be able to say that much longer.
That's what he's
Unless
talking.
they win the
Oh,
Champions League again.
Hang on. He put the dollar sign in there. So £100 million to dollars.
Is not $200.
Cannot be 200 million.
Definitely not
I
$200
know it isn't, but I'm seeing how much it is. It's 130 million. So it's still it's not
No,
yet 130 million.
no.
Plus agent fees,
not
plus
close.
salary.
Because net spend ain't real.
Salary. Yeah, if net spend was real, it's 200 mil, bro. Do you know what I mean? Plus the amount of money that's spent on PR to protect that geezer. Callum, what do you think Rashford with Diaz? Would you swap Rashford with Diaz?
Yeah. All right, fam. I've seen that brother and flipping out.
He looks serious. He just got once he starts adding some goals and some assists like regularly
it's
to
coming.
it.
You know, it's coming, bro.
It reminds me of It reminds me of Mahrez when he first started playing, like when he first broke through in the Leicester team properly. He just can go left, go right. He's great. It begs the question: how did Ollie beat? How did Ollie beat City at the Etihad 3 times in a row? Press merchant rocked up to the Etihad and got piped hard. Dan thought Chelsea would be
when did we get piped hard? No. When did we get piped hard?
No, it's about us.
Talking about Man United.
I
saw Gage impressed.
Sorry.
I'm just in the kitchen right now.
The fact that we are speaking about a potential quad with Liverpool and treble with City is testament to the 2 best teams in Europe. Chelsea 3rd best is what Micah Johnson says.
Can we stop the quad talk, please?
Sorry, Daniel, didn't you say at the beginning of the season when we had a little debate that when I said we're the better team?
No. I said we'd win the league.
No. We had a conversation. I said I think we're the better team, and you said no. You beg to disagree, and I said, we'll probably see.
I did, but you have to look at the reasons why I said we're no longer in the title race. The same reason.
He's going to say injuries.
Yeah.
But wait, when Liverpool had injuries,
we were told not to make excuses.
I mean, you can tell me not to make excuses if you want to as well. But
how many injuries have we had?
Reeces James.
Major injuries. Ben Chilwell obviously out for time. Kovacic got injured when he was literally our best player.
How long was Kovacic out for?
Kovacic was out basically
2 games.
I'm not having this. I've got to put a stop
Was
to
it
this.
4 games, Terry? 4 games.
Do you know what it is? 4 games, 40 games. I don't. Do you know what's happened to football? Right. The one thing I'd say that I'm not a fan of in modern day football is most clubs have become system merchants. They are because, and then you have one or two players that make that system work. If we just go back, and I know football evolves and changes, but it's just something I don't like. I'm not saying it had to change. It's something I don't like. When City lost the league title to Liverpool 2 years ago, it was because Laporte got injured and they didn't sign a replacement for Company, and that was the excuse, an injury. Liverpool last year fell off because of injuries. Chelsea this year, we couldn't compete because we lost our fullbacks and a few players. This never used to happen before. I never remember Fergie having 2 or 3 players out and everybody saying it's okay not to win the Prem. The standard was you still go and win the Prem. It was always, now what we've created is this. We've got an easy excuse. If you get 1 or 2 injuries now, that's just our excuse to like paper over all other crap, all other issues.
Okay, cool.
That's why. Like, I still think Chelsea with your squad, you should still be challenging.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. Best squad.
All your managers, you 3 have got the best 3 managers in Europe, they say. Persevere and change it like the GOAT Fergie did.
Yeah, we were told they had the best squad in the league, man.
No one said that.
You didn't.
I said we had the best squad in the league.
You guys started calling Lukaku R9, right? So at the end of the day,
no. Do you know what we're gonna do? Let me just address
4-4, no safe. I'm gonna go into Zayn now.
Now that we're on the terrace. Now that we're on the terrace. Let's debunk 3 facts. Terry, you can't have your cake and eat it when you say you guys and then try and direct it to me. I've never called Lukaku R9 4.
You called him Big 4-4, no safety though.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's a name.
Big 4-4, more like the 1-1.
Or is safety clearly on, bro?
The 1-1 super soaker, bro. 1-1 spud
Wait,
gun.
hold on.
Nerf gun.
When the line goes starting and you win. Stop it, please. Anyway, 2, the point remains. It wasn't 1 or 2 injuries. I hate this myth. It was more than 1 or 2. Chilwell, Lukaku, Kovacic, Mason Mount were all out at the same time. And then obviously added to the fact where you might not think this is the case, but I think we were one of the only top clubs to not get 1 COVID game postponed. Everyone literally got rest.
No, please.
Man. You had the quality and depth very similar to Man City, didn't you? You had the same quality and depth, did you not?
COVID.
Say that again, sorry.
You said you had the best squad.
At the beginning of the season, Daniel said that they had the same quality and depth as City.
No, I did not. Oh my days, check the tape.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. I remember you saying, because somebody was like, "Oh, Man City has such great quality and depth," and you were like, "Well, what about us?"
What's so funny? I can never
you had "What about us" a lot early in the season.
I can never get God. The only thing I said.
You do? Yes, you have got God. What do you mean?
What happened? I said we'd win the league, and I admitted that. I earned that. I can never get
but you're
God.
saying, hang on. Let's play semantics. You said you're going to win the league. That means because you think you got the best team, right? Now you're like, no, I never said we're the better team. You're obviously saying you're winning the league means you've got a better team than City.
No, it does not. It means circumstances because of the way things.
Wait. Telling you, Daniel. Let me ask you one question. So you're telling me.
I said we'd win. I said.
Hang on. So circumstances. So what you're saying? So what you're saying? So when people. Hang on.
No, Terry. No. I don't want you to misquote me. Yeah, of course it's so. Of course, and I understand.
No, I'm cooking you right now. We're gonna. I got my salt and pepper ready because that's the only seasoning I use.
One in the comments said Terry and Jess are a great couple. I can see it's just the salt, man. You lot don't listen.
Why is Jess catching strays? What's she done?
Her and Callum just staring the thing.
I distinctly remember Daniel saying when we were talking about the strength of squads that you had really one of those moments. Well, what about us?
I said we had the better.
What about our strength and depth? But now you're like, well, we didn't get any COVID absences. We didn't get any COVID.
I said we had a better team than Liverpool. I never said we had a better team than Man City.
You said strength and depth, like City.
No, circumstances is mad though, because when
my memory is good. My memory is good.
This is what I mean though, guys, about circumstances being an excuse now for fans. It's become no, but this is when I'll tell you why I don't like it. Another reason I've already given one. This is my second reason. This is the salt and pepper on the chicken that isn't plain, right? This is what it is, right? When last season rivals said to Chelsea fans, You got an easier draw than other teams. That's how you got to a Champions League final. That's a circumstance thing. You guys played it down. No, that's part of this. It's part of that. We don't discount your Champions League win on a real level because you got a slightly easier draw than the other side, or better teams got knocked out by other big teams on the other side of the draw. You're still the best team in that competition that year because you won it. Like, circumstances for me is become, I just think it's being overused. When you predict your team to win at the start of the season, you don't do it and go, none of you said we'll win the league if City and Liverpool get a few more injuries than us. That's not what was being said.
The point remains, though, you can't sit there and say that circumstances have become a big part of football when your whole thing about Man United not being good is because of a very different circumstance.
Okay, so our circumstance is that we're not run well enough and there's problems at the football club. I'm still frustrated.
One sec, Terry. Now, this is where I'm going to cook you. You're not the worst run team in England. You're not the worst run. You're not run to your ideal.
No,
standard.
we are. How are you talking about? We
are one of the worst
terribly run team.
If you were terribly run, you would not be where you are right now.
No, do you know what? No. Do you know why we are where we are still? Do you know why we're still up there? Because we spent more than Manchester City have. If we spend enough to be, we should be at City's level.
Exactly. And why is that?
We don't run ourselves well enough to get to that level.
Because the owners aren't the ones on the pitch.
Can I say
hang on. Sorry, Cal, one second. Hang on. You guys,
what are we even talking about anymore?
You Chelsea fans, listen, your cooking is failed. You turn the oven on, bruv. You Chelsea fans are crying last week. You Chelsea fans are crying last week because your owner's selling your club. Literally debunking your point. When you have a great owner who runs your club well, you achieve greatness. Our owners and our board suck ass pipe.
No.
You know it.
No. You can keep going back and forth.
Roman isn't accountable. Roman and Marina and them man there.
Roman is actually a terrible owner. Roman is a terrible owner.
Terrible.
The consensus.
Roman did nothing.
I was one of the very few Chelsea fans who thought Lukaku was the right piece, the perfect person to get. Obviously, I've been proven wrong, but there were a massive Chelsea fans saying, Marina, how can you spend 100 million on Lukaku when he's not what we need? Da-di-da-di-da. Everything in football is about circumstances. We should never make excuses if we believe our squads are good enough, if circumstances don't play a part in football. That's the point I'm making. It's just that your circumstance is different or bigger.
I understand that. And again, sorry, Cal, one sec. I understand certain circumstances matter. You know, if my squad's worse than your squad, that circumstance of my squad not being as good. You predict what I'm saying is when you predict your team to win the league, you didn't do it based on circumstance of, well, their squad might get weakened by injuries or suspensions or whatever else. You base it on what you know at that time. We don't know what circumstance. The circumstance you felt then is that you were better than City.
No, this is why I mean you didn't listen. I said, just like we mentioned, me and Callum had a debate at the beginning of the season where I said Chelsea's squad is better than Liverpool's, yes?
And City.
You understand? We both agree right now in this present moment. One sec, let me land. Man City squad's better than Liverpool, but the reason why you believe Liverpool to win the league is because of they're in the right mood, the way that they're feeling, everything is going in their favor and whatnot. That was the same thing I said. I said that we're a better team than Liverpool, but we're not a better team than Man City. But because we had just won the Champions League, we just added a piece where I thought that was the missing piece to the puzzle. In that situation now, I thought we'd do the job over City because they'd be focused on the Champions League. That's what I said.
I gotta find that clip. I gotta find that clip.
Over 38 games.
You said strength and depth, same as City.
It ain't easy for me. It ain't that easy. It ain't that easy because the circumstances change with a few months of the season to go. At the start of the season, you're not. I know you've just won the Champions League, but they were also champions of England. You had to be confident that when you do a 38-game season, wherever you finish shows you're the best. If you win the league this year, you are the best team. You predicted you were going to be the best team in England this year.
Yeah, the same way we were the best team in Europe last year.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. So you thought you were going to be the best team in England this year. Therefore, you think you're better than City this year.
No, but you know what it means.
No. Basically,
in Europe, Terry.
Basically, Daniel recognizes that the only reason why the champions in Europe is due to circumstance and look of the draw. So he's hoping if circumstance and look of the league
at the end of the day,
his way.
At the end of the day, let's just leave it here. Two things. One, our Champions League trophy doesn't have the word circumstance on it. It's still legit.
Exactly, you're right, because you were the best team in Europe last year.
If you want to say that
your league title is going to have circumstance.
We'll be back next year. Let's just say that.
There we go. What are you saying? What are you saying, Cal? Before we move on to the next point,
So
which is probably gonna be even more heated.
The reason why I got at Daniel in particular there is because circumstances, in my opinion, do have a part to play throughout the season. Again, my thing with that though is when, and again, not even to dig you out, just but when some people were saying, look, we're not going to finish in certain positions and stuff, I think everyone looked at what we did last season. No, I'm not. No strays, Jess. No strays. We're good tonight. We're good tonight. But I'm like, for example, when people were saying we wouldn't finish the top 4 or we'd be nowhere near the title challenge, everyone looked at what we went through last season. So you see, when I heard rival fans saying, "Oh yeah, Liverpool are terrible, terrible champions. They're one of the worst champions." No one was looking at our circumstances last season. And the fact that we finished 3rd was a little bit of a miracle considering what happened to us during the season, especially when Chelsea had spent a lot of money. City had spent money and Man United had spent money. This season now, at the beginning of the season, the reason why I was saying Liverpool will finish 2nd is because our players came back. The circumstances were very different to what they were last season. Now, granted, we could have gone and done the same thing we did last season with injuries. But in my opinion, we had rectified that by signing another centre-back, which allowed us to rotate more. And we had another attacker now in Diaz, which will allow us again to rotate a bit more up top. So this whole narrative of Liverpool didn't have a squad and Chelsea had this squad. So I'm saying if Chelsea had such a great squad, should 2 injuries derail them from a title challenge? In my opinion, it shouldn't. I'm not saying you still win it. Hold on. No. Let me finish, Daniel. Let me finish. Every team has injuries this season. There's a difference between having long-term injuries and short-term injuries. Thiago's probably been out more than Kovacic, for example. But look where we are in the table. Yes, it is true.
It's not.
All right. Let's use another player then. We'll use another player. You're
Fabinho.
talking about
No.
Say that again.
You can use like a Fabinho because he was out. I think he was out longer than Kovacic. Who was out longer, Fabinho or Thiago?
No, Thiago's been out longer this season.
Thiago's been out forever.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. So we've had injuries this season.
He's never been fit.
But we just navigated. I heard that, Terry. I'm going to come back to that. But we just navigated better than we did last season. So this whole, and again, if Tuchel is better than Klopp and he's in the conversation with Pep, if you lose your 2 best fullbacks, which again is a hindrance, but you've got a squad, in your opinion, or many Chelsea fans' opinion, that should be able to cope with it, why are they so far behind City and Liverpool, especially Liverpool?
Go ahead, Callum. Get him.
Ellen, a question for you though. With the injuries that we've had, so let me just re-clarify the injuries that we've had.
Sorry, Daniel, to cut you. With all due respect, I only want long-term injuries.
Yes, and what do you class as long-term? Because I class 4 weeks as long-term.
No, 4 weeks is not long-term.
That's 4 games. That's
at least
4 games.
2. Has to be at least 2, bro.
2 months minimum is long-term.
I look at long-term as being like anything between 4 months to the season.
So a 6-week injury is not a long-term injury.
Bro, that's a month, an international break.
You get injured like that, fam. One sec, if you get injured for 6 weeks, yeah, and then the time it takes you to come back into the team properly.
Come on.
If we're gonna do that, then it's done for you,
bro. Look at this. Understand this. Yeah, when we're looking at, okay, for example, I don't know the exact time that Reeces James was out for, but when Reeces James scored and got an assist at the weekend, one of the things that people were doing straight away was comparing how many goal involvements Reeces James has had to Trent, and Trent basically had over double the amount of minutes that Reeces James has played. But I think Reeces James has only been out for about 6 to 7 weeks in total. But Trent has had double the minutes. That's a huge chunk of time that he's missed, especially when the games were so compact. That's why I'm saying that it is a long-term injury. Of course it is when the games were so close together.
Who have you had that's been out for 2 months or more?
We didn't get any breaks.
No one gets breaks of his life. Who's been out for more than 2 months?
I think Lukaku was out for 2 months, if I'm not mistaken.
That ain't a problem, though. That made you better. Come on now.
If you say so. Chilwell was obviously the long-term one. Because he's
Chilwell for me, again, it depends. Like everyone's going to, I suppose, everyone have a different. For me, long-term is anything. I would 4 months probably push it. I'd say 3 months plus for me. Like I think it's like 4. I look at it this way: when you play Football Manager and the thing because I player injured. If it's anything more than 3 months, you're sort of like, okay, we're back soon. Like, I don't panic.
Yeah, literally. Hey, if you're a Football Manager and it's a 4-week injury, you're not reloading the same.
If Chilwell was out, then of course, look, I would even take all the slander, no defense from me. But it's been the fact that there have been multiple people at the same time all out at the same time. And fair enough. Maybe I did overestimate what I thought our squad could do, but I have never said that our squad is better than Man City. Have that on record.
You said it was like equal, kind of like
No,
the
I did
same.
No, I did not.
I'm
I
gonna
said,
find the clip.
find it.
So it's time to own up to it now.
Find it. Put me on Twitter. If you can't find it now, tag
I
me on Twitter
remember
when you
that
find
day
it.
because I was
Look
like,
for it.
he's
Look for
bugging.
it. And if I'm
I
wrong,
remember
then I'm
that.
wrong. I will hold my hands up on the TO and say I'm wrong. But I don't
So, yeah,
believe I've said that. I have not said that.
Kovacic was out for 7 games. Is that considered long term?
7, but of course, to some people, just like
Oh,
7 games is not a number of
No,
games.
bro,
long-
there's like
how long
60
was the-
games in the
How long
season.
was the period?
It's not
How long was
60
the
games, it's
period?
Premier
Those
League
7
season.
games. How long was
Are
it?
you-
It was
sorry,
33
Jess, sorry,
days.
was that 7
33
Premier
days.
League games, Jess?
So it's a month. He was out for a month.
He was out for a month, so it probably was.
That's
It
not-
wasn't just Premier League
that's not
games. It
long
was
term.
other
That's not long
stuff.
term.
Yeah,
That's what I'm
mixed
saying.
in.
Interesting take.
And wait, last point, the final point is
7
what you
games.
need to remember as well is that we've lost the same amount of games as Man City. So that's obviously 3 games each, and then 1 less. Obviously, Liverpool have lost 1 less than both of us. Where we have been derailed is through silly draws that we've had, where we've dropped points where we shouldn't have in that congested COVID period. I just think that it's a bit. I can't remember the word, but it's a bit
Poor.
The word doesn't exist.
No.
Daniel. That's why.
It's from you guys. I don't know what the word is, but that word that I'm looking for, that you know I'm looking for, it's very, very bad of all of you to look at what has happened this season.
What,
Look at
disingenuous?
Nothing has happened. Okay, when you look at what happened to Liverpool last season,
Yes,
you've been
I am
through
not hearing
nothing.
a
You've
word
been
from you
through
because-
nothing.
One sec. I'm not hearing a word from you because the first thing that came out your mouth from when the beginning of the season started with Arsenal was, look how many COVID cases we have. That's why we're not here.
Oh, that's true. That is
Look how
true.
many COVID cases. So I'm not hearing it from you. Thank you very much.
I hear you
Daniel,
on that.
literally fight like you're flipping on a lifeline,
And I
bro.
like that. And
relax.
it's good. It's good. It's
I love my
His
club.
head is back
I love
against
my
the
club.
wall.
That's what you need. That's what we need in the top 6. Right, we've got some super chats here, and then we're going into the big SAKA debate. The big SAKA
please, let's
debate.
get going on that
Make
one.
sure that
Slow
like
debate.
button is
Patrick
being
is so
smashed.
salty. Like, why are you so
I'm
mad?
ready.
Guys,
I've got my
stop,
Are you
stop,
mad
wait,
because
wait.
Skip is not in
Guys,
the
stop.
conversation?
I'm muting. Wait. I've got these super chats. Just hold. Do you know what sometimes annoys me when I make shows with people? Is everyone like wants to let it, they don't let cook, they let out the bag too soon. All you newbies to socials, hold it in. It's a bit like when they tried to kill Harry Potter. You got to keep him alive until the right moment. Do you know what I mean? Until Voldemort's at his weakest. Come on now. We know you Yanks get a bit carried away, but hold it down, please, Jess.
Oh, so you were just talking to me.
Okay, I'm just. Oh, look at the boat race. Come on, chill it out. And you, Patrick, you naughty boy as well. Stop it. Oh wow. Hot take: Chelsea to win the Champions League back to back is what Micah's got to say there.
Yeah.
If we do that,
Micah here says Chelsea beat both PSG and Bayern Munich. EPL levels are high. Of course, our best league in the world. That's one thing we probably all agree on. We have the best league in the world. Not because it's English, but because it's the league that's good. Before we go, you think England is better than other countries? Our league is. Yes, suck that up. You didn't say anything, Mr. Cyrus, but thank you. Mahrez and Mane's goals stand by Lukaku's goal against Liverpool doesn't. Sorry, Chelsea agenda in full effect. So
It was offside. It was offside.
Don't get this.
Yo, he's offside.
So
Referees
can we just
can't-
make sure that we people have when they're saying that Arsenal have tinfoil hats on.
Yeah. He's got
It's not
tinfoil.
just us. I'm
Yeah,
telling
wait.
you, it's not just us.
No. Let's
They've
get it
got
right.
tinfoil.
Even though I totally disagree, because I tell every Chelsea fan, bro, it was offside. Get over it. Arsenal fans are worse, and don't.
No, they
compare-
are
This
worse.
is pretty bad. This is pretty bad
Yeah.
because he was offside.
All
Yeah,
fans
yeah.
are mental.
What are we doing here?
Hey, Daniel, I heard the new owner could be the LA Dodgers part owner. I'm satisfied with Champions League and the FA Cup this year. I want the pressure on City next season, is what Carl has got to say.
4. Carl, we don't do that round there. We go for all 4, bro.
Nah, he's being realistic,
Why
my
did you
bro.
say,
He's
hey,
being
Daniel?
realistic.
I don't know. Carl's talking to you. Maybe he thinks Cal's down. I don't know.
No, he's talking about the owner for Chelsea.
Oh,
The
the owner
Chelsea-
of Chelsea.
Yeah,
bit.
the
That's it.
Chelsea,
Yeah.
Please
Chelsea
bring him a
lost
day,
lost games all season, just like City. 2 in 2 comps. How the F are Chelsea getting heat right now? like Trent and Robbie out of Liverpool for months and see how you are, is what DJ says.
Oh, now you got
We
Simicast.
lost
who's
all,
better
we
than
lost all of our
Robertson.
centre backs, midfielders. Like, bruv, we saw where we finished.
Last game, City versus Villa. Gerrard will make Liverpool win the league, and Jack Grealish doesn't win his first league. Great dream, lol, is what Voice of the Villain says. Comment here says, Dan, other than consistency, I think he means get consistent game time. What does Lukaku have over Origi? Origi is faster, more skillful, and just as good a finisher as Lukaku, in my opinion. Respect D9 is what he says there.
And he shows up in big games, doesn't he?
Origi has never had the number 9 in his career, so we can't even put 9 on him.
He doesn't
So
need it to make sure that he
I'll add
scores
some
goals, right?
I'll add context to that. So when on our channel, when he scored the winner against Wolves, I've changed his name to D9 because you add the 2 and the 7 together, it makes 9 and Divock. So that's on me.
Nice.
Carl back again says, if they keep losing CL, their attentions will be away from the league next season. Liverpool should take advantage of it. I don't mind losing the Premier League if we win the Champions League. When the season will end, it will be 9 seasons without a league and 5 seasons with the last time we won any trophies. I'm afraid to say, with those jackasses that still run our club, United, we will win nothing until 2026. I don't know.
Beyond that, my brother. Beyond that.
If Liverpool had no Robertson since November, Trent out for 2 months, Thiago out for 2 months, and Fabinho for a month, where would they be in the table? Says Josh.
Is that a question to me?
I'm asking you, yeah. I'm putting it you.
Well, for Trent, we haven't got any actual proper cover, so we'd be in trouble over that side. Simicast would use as cover for Robbo potentially, but again, I think Simicast is good. Hasn't played long enough to necessarily say.
Alan,
So now let me can I land, bro?
You know it's sarcasm, though. I think it's sarcasm.
I'm not even being sarcastic.
Oh, okay, fair enough then.
Thiago has been out for 2 months this season. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we lost Fabinho for a month, but we've also lost midfielders to the point this season where we've only been able to have 2 or 3 midfielders in our whole squad. Once again, Chelsea aren't the only team in history to get injuries. What are we doing here? I thought these lots spent billions upon billions, but now it's all right because they've got a couple players out. We give them a pass. Not on my watch. Not happening.
I hear you on that. StreamYard's getting mad. It won't even let me.
Terry's frozen for you guys.
KFC
StreamYard, literally. KJ, just stop a second, bro. You're throwing people out when I'm putting them in.
I didn't touch anything.
Oh, did you not? StreamYard's gone. I don't know if anyone can still see us. StreamYard has got these connection issues. It went crazy. I don't even know if the viewers can see us. I don't know if they can hear us. It kicked us out for a few minutes. We'll be back in a moment.
I think we're still live. We are still live.
We are still live. We'll wait for the others to come back. But yeah, it's gone a little bit crazy. YouTube, that's not YouTube, it was StreamYard. They've actually emailed to say they've got like a connection issue. So yeah, we'll wait for Daniel to come back. But we've got a few more super chats to get through before then. Loads were coming through. I couldn't even save them because it was literally playing up like a mad one here. Super chat here says, when the City, okay, we'll have that one. If Liverpool had no Robert, next one was Daniel, Boris, Lukaku, Belgium, Waffle Johnson. Is what Aiden says about him there. Aaron also says, so Diaz is injured long-term, according to Daniel. Sharif G says, Reeces James out for 2.5 months, is what he says. Dexter, I'm not sure if I might be able to find Dexter still. Some of them are here. Dexter's is here. It says, Deck will firm, sorry, Deck. We firmed our
December.
Okay, sorry, I'm so confused. Unlike the others who postponed because of AFCON and fake tests, Chelsea's last Champions League beat domestic league champions Ati, Porto, and Real Madrid versus Man City, Mönchengladbach. Cool. Thank you very much, Dexter. Evening, we lost 3 centre-backs last season. We still finished above Chelsea. This season, last month in May, Liverpool versus City, fighting for the league and could be the FA Cup and Champions League final. Saudi media, a private consortium, have made contact with the group about buying Chelsea. We had another super chat here with nothing being said, but thank you very much for the donation. We had loads to get through. I'm not too sure if Daniel's even coming back, but we will see.
No, he got cooked too badly.
Roman was playing with the Wi-Fi as we were talking on there. Yeah, I know. It's actually crazy. I've never seen that happen before on StreamYard.
Yeah.
Okay, we've had that one twice. Thank you very, very much for super chatting that in, my guy. Safe also put one in here as well. He says, Terry, Safe just called you. Oh, it did. I had a call from someone that says, don't answer. It must be Safe who's still got my number. There we go, Safe. Yeah, I'm not answering it when I'm live, am I? Anyway, I wanna move it on because we went on a bit long and then StreamYard kicked us all out. Jess. Bukayo Saka, we know how sensational he is. We know what a quality player he is. We know what a brilliant player he is. Is he the best young player, 23 years of age now and younger, in the Premier League, in your opinion?
I mean, look, I love Bukayo, like I really do, and I think he's come leaps and bounds this season. I have to be honest, I think right now, with the amount of goals and assists that he has, nobody has more than him. Young English players, nobody has more than him right now. So I do think that he's definitely up there, and he's shut a lot of people up that were saying, you know, he's good, but he doesn't have end product. Well, he has it now. So now he's in that conversation. I think it's fair for him to be right up there with the best of the best. We can start talking about Bukayo in that light. But for me, of course, I'm always going to put him at the tippy top. But there's only like 2 or 3 players that I feel like could potentially be above him. And that's Phil Foden and Trent for sure. And Declan Rice probably right there. But I would put Saka above Declan Rice because I think scoring goals is the hardest thing to do. So I think he's definitely top 3/top 4. That being said, I don't blame Arsenal fans for wanting to put him up there. You know, I really don't, you know, because he's our best player. When he wasn't scoring goals, it was, well, he doesn't score goals. You know, now that he's scoring goals, it's, well, you know, it's the type of goals, it's this and that. He's our most important player. You know, Foden plays with the best players in the world. Saka doesn't, you know, and he's basically been one of the players to really push us forward. If we make top 4, it'll be, a lot of it will have to do with him. So I think it's fair for him to be a part of this conversation. I also think it's fair to think that he's not number 1, but I'm comfortable with saying he's top 3, only behind Foden and Trent Alexander-Arnold. That's it.
Because like I've been catching a lot of heat this season.
You haven't even heard anything, Daniel. What you?
I just heard he's top 3, and I just
I've been catching a lot of heat this season because I said at the beginning that Saka for me is overrated, and I still stand by that because even this poll right now proves my point to a T. For you guys to vote Saka as the best young player under 23, it's crazy. You got Trent, who's been doing bits for how long? Trent's leading the league in assists, by the way. He's got 11 assists. So yeah, Saka's got goals and assists, but Trent is killing it as a wing player, as a fullback. 11 assists. You got Phil Foden, who's different gravy. Yeah, he plays for the best team in the world, but he gets into that team comfortably, and he's changing games, he's affecting games, and he's younger than Saka right now. So for me, he's comfortably second. Then you got Reeces James as well, who's a fullback. And this guy's got 5 goals, 6 assists in 17 games. So he's played a lot less games than Saka, and he's affecting games at the highest level. Also won the Champions League, winning, trophies. And then you've also got arguably people like Declan Rice that can still get in there. Havertz as well, who's still a young baller and doing bits, scoring goals in big games like Champions League final. So how are all of these guys below Saka, according to this poll?
I don't know, look.
That's why when I say that Saka's overrated and people jump on me, I think he's a good player, of course.
Well, I feel like saying he's overrated is being a. I feel the salt there, to be honest. You can feel like he's not the top, but to say he's overrated is almost to say that
he's good.
Yes, but can you not? You can be a brilliant player and be overrated. And I'll give you an example. I mean, this is the point I'm making here. This is what Gunnar Sol said earlier. Respected Arsenal fan on the socials. The question in our post was, is Saka the best young player in the Premier League? And his response was, that last question is yes. It's not even a question anymore. He's the best young player in the league. No one comes close.
There you go.
So if I ask you this question, I've asked you this question, Jess, saying no young player in the league is even close to Saka, is that overrating Saka in your opinion?
Yeah, maybe.
There you
But
go.
I hear other people do the same things. Like, I'd rather have Kai Havertz than Mbappe. Like, do you see what I'm saying? Like, every fan base does this, but then if we rate our players and we put them on a pedestal, just like everybody else, there's a lot of Chelsea fans that would not trade Phil Foden or anybody else for Mason Mount. And it's not a big deal, is it? He's not overrated, is he? So my whole thing is just I don't get this. Like, I really don't understand it, because I just feel like Arsenal fans are always going to put their players on a pedestal. Everybody does.
I'm sorry. But
everybody does.
Yeah, but everyone does. I mean, everyone gets the same kind of criticism. This whole thing of, Arsenal fans get this different kind of treatment. No, you don't, bro. When's
the last time you guys have done a show like this on another fan base rating their player higher?
Or Man United, bro. We have whole debates about flipping Bruno Fernandes. We had a whole debates over like a certain player that we don't speak about no more. I forgot he plays for us. Like.
Okay.
The reason that we're asking the question today is based on the fact that the performance he put in yesterday. Why? Because the performance he put in yesterday led to what was trending globally for 5 hours yesterday was Starboy. Arsenal fans around the world talking about their player being the best young player in the league. So it would be wrong of us, on the top 6 show on the Football Terrace, when we've got a mixture of rival fans, not to put the question out there. And the question is Saka the best young player in the EPL? Now, for me, right now on form, I think he could be. On form,
he is. What are you guys looking at?
A second. Let me just finish a second. And I'm in both camps to a certain degree. I think he's sensational right now. Scoring goals is one of the hardest things to do in football when he's adding goals to his game. I think Trent Alexander-Arnold has been the best player of 23 years and younger now for the past 4 to 5 years in the Premier League on consistency. Phil Foden for the past 2 years has been sensational. So if you can ask me who's better out of those 3 as an example, I go Trent, Foden, Saka. Out of those 3, I'm keeping it to those 3 as an isolation. On form, I think Saka's been marginally better than them both over the last couple. I think he's been outstandingly good in a lesser team, and I think all that counts. But equally, I agree where Patrick's coming from. When I do this to all fan bases. When I see people say, I've seen Arsenal, Chelsea fans recently say, Thiago is clear of Van Dijk, not even close. Stupid comment. It's dumb. It's dumb to say he's clear of him and nowhere near it, and vice versa, because they're probably they're the 2 best centre-backs in the league, and they're 2 of the best centre-backs in the world. They're very, very close to one another overall. So I do find it frustrating. It's ironically, when you over-egg your players, and I've done it. I did it with Bruno. I've done it with Rashford. People show less respect to your players when you do it. If people said, I think Saka is one of the best, he's rubbing elbows, he could become the best, everyone will go, yeah, you're probably right there. As soon as you start doing the whole, he's clear, no one comes close, it's the biggest one for me, and I've done this, Jess, and you know this, over the Legends debate, is not even a debate. What's the point talking about it? I can't fathom that. I think it's disrespectful to the other youngsters, and it undermines how good Saka is, in my opinion.
I said, like,
he's
Saka's
sensational.
Because an Arsenal fan thinks that Saka's the best, that means that it's okay for rival fans to go to the complete opposite, because.
But no one has. None of us have said he's a bad player.
Yeah.
But that's what you do, because you just said that then rivals disrespect you even more, or like.
Yeah, but disrespect
they're less likely to listen to it. You know, if Souls is one person, like. Do you see what I'm saying? So, okay, well, I don't like what Soul said. So
that's not one person.
Trash.
I use him as an
example. Are we 5?
Oh boy, we're trending around the world.
Hold on.
Oh boy, we're trending around the world.
Jess, I've got you, because I see what you're doing, and it's very, very smart what you're doing and how you're playing this, because you don't believe this Saka talk, but you're defending it almost as if it's your own opinion.
No, I think he's top 3. I do.
And fair enough, that's your opinion, and I'm not even going to try and. It's your plan. I'd probably say he's top 3 if I was an Arsenal fan. But if we're all being objective, I personally do think there are clearly 3 better youngsters or talents than Saka, and have shown it over a longer period. I think Saka's coming into his own now, where he's now putting himself as someone who can do it. That's why Terry is able to say, on form, he'd have him as number one, which is fair enough. I wouldn't, but that's fair enough. But for me, I still think there are clearly 3 better talents than him.
And the talents aren't even like, ain't no bum talent from flipping Norwich.
Like,
you know what I mean? It's
But
these
that's
are
what I'm
elite
saying. Like
talents that are above him, and that's fine.
And it's fine to have these types of debates. Like, cool. Like, I would say, to be honest, like, okay, Foden and Trent are probably better than Saka right now. But we have for you, not for me. But the Saka can also play like almost every single position at a high rate as well. He can. He absolutely can. And he was also a really young player that wasn't even supposed to be in that Euro squad. Nobody even thought that he would play. He started almost every single game. Saka's amazing. So anyways, back to what I was saying. It's fine. Like, we probably have 3 or 4 of the best young players, like literally just in our squad. So if they're not the best, fine. It's cool.
No, that's not.
No one's saying that, right?
Yeah,
no one's saying that.
But
no one's saying
in the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Like,
But the thing is, Jess, you're acting like we're sitting there saying Saka is...
Because that's what you guys do. It's like, but
no, we're not saying Saka is... Yes, yo, chill for 2 seconds, man.
He doesn't have any
wearing off,
goals. Now that he's scoring goals.
Like, listen. No one here... Wait, listen. No one here has ever said in this entire conversation, Saka is bad, he is trash, he's this,
you don't have to say that to
but no one Patrick's not sitting there trying to say that he's one of the worst players in the league. He's
Patrick is salty because he doesn't put the dog in the fight.
I'm salty.
He's salty because he's trying to force Skip down our throat.
No.
I don't have to hear what Patrick has to say.
No, Jess, stop, because you're just saying.
From the moment, when we were in the chat today, what did you say?
I've not said none of this.
Topics. Terry asked for topics, and you said, "Are Arsenal fans overrating their defense? Do they think Ben White is better?" I'm going to do my homework. You had you were so mad from day dot.
No. Stop this. Saka,
you guys don't have a star boy. Dele Alli was your star boy. Where is he?
What's that got to do with Saka?
Where is he?
What's that got to do with Saka and who's better than him?
I'm not going to have you talk about
Why can't I talk about Saka? Do I not have a valid football opinion?
Because you're salty.
No,
I'm not valid. It's valid.
Listen, I'm here for salt, bro.
I'm here for salt. You outed yourself this morning.
Patrick ain't being salty. He's literally spoken calmly. He's actually said Saka's a good player. How good Patrick thinks he is, that's a different conversation. But he's not. No one's here said Saka's crap, and you're moving like you said Saka's crap.
I literally, because Patrick, before we even said that the Saka conversation was going to be it, when Terry asked what the topic should be for today, he said, "Are Arsenal fans overrating their defense? Is Ben White making more mistakes?"
Yeah,
so you outed yourself, and you knew when you came into this conversation, you couldn't wait. Okay, Saka's overrated. Saka's overrated. You have Skip. Ain't nobody listening.
Listen. Go on, Patrick. Guys, let Patrick chat for a second.
Okay. So listen, at the beginning of the season, I was getting a lot of heat because I've always said Saka was overrated. This year, and my argument back to that was, when has Saka ever provided more than 10 goals or 10 assists? This year, he's on course to do that, and I hold my hands up and say, cool. He's had a great season. But at the same time, sorry, that's my doorbell. Apologies. At the same time, you've got Trent, you've got Phil Foden, and you've got Reeces James, for me, who have been putting in constant performances for the last 2 or 3 years, and they are better than Saka right now. I don't understand what is there to debate and really go back and forth. And
I'll say on this matter is that I think Saka's amazing. If you go back over not that anyone's going to have the time to do this, I've never really said anything negative about him at all since he broke through. Always thought he was great. Was happy that he was in the England squad. I think he's an absolute superstar in the making. The only thing I don't like seeing, and there's 2 reasons. One, from a footballing standpoint, the whole he's clear when he clearly isn't clear of those other players, Trent and Foden especially, like he isn't clear of them. It's annoying. And the reason on a football level, it's like, I can't deal with it. Secondly, it does then create the backlash from people where they go for your player. And then it creates all these pointless debates online. Is to and fro. And when he goes 3 games without scoring, then the Arsenal fans get crap and the Arsenal fans lash back. And it's like being back in the school playground. That's the bit that bothers me about it at too much of a level. In terms of the best youngsters, though, and I'm talking players under the age of 24. Some people didn't want Trent to be in this conversation because he turns 24 in October. But I'm like, well, this season he's still 23. That shows how good he is. People are trying to force him out of that youngster category so their guy can be number one. Right? In terms of the best young player in the league, though, Dan, do you think it's Reeces James? Or best fullback, at least? Because I know you've been waiting to have this conversation for a while. You're muted, bro. We can't hear you.
It's probably best.
No youngster, but fullback. Look, I've said it already. No one's going to change my mind over Trent being better. Look, I understand, and I will even come out and say, for the record, that even me watching Trent live has made me appreciate him even like on a different level. Like that brother is a special player. But at the same time, I've watched Reeces James live as well for the whole season. Maybe I do. In fact, I don't. But I've watched him live for the whole season as well. And I think Reeces James is quite, like, if you see what he's able to do on the defensive side of the game in terms of how wingers are having to change their position, you'd see managers tell them to change their starting position because they're not getting any joy on Reeces James' side. And I'm hearing all the talk about him being a wing back. And look, let's just we know what they are. They're attacking fullbacks. They're able to affect on the attacking side of play, and they're able to affect on the defensive side of things. It's not changing anything, and I think people just want to add nuances to the debate when we're just talking about their talents. I just personally think Reeces James is the more complete package. He has everything in his locker when it comes defensively, and he's obviously only going to get better in that regard. And going forward now, he's adding to the numbers that people wanted him to. Trent has always had the numbers, and the thing that's always let Reeces James down is the numbers, and now he's getting those numbers. And I think, again, it comes back to the point we were talking about couple of weeks ago, or even today, where if you don't watch the team enough, you wouldn't know. In previous years, Reeces James was putting balls on a plate for a number of attackers and they weren't finishing it. And he was obviously being robbed of certain stats. Fair enough, maybe that's not a good enough debate. At least now I'm seeing my guy get the numbers. I think, 5 goals and 6 assists in almost 17
games. Yeah, 5 goals, 6 assists in 17 games.
Is an incredible amount. So yeah, Reeces James for me is the best in it. Fullback, definitely.
Sheriff G here says, I wouldn't say Conor Gallagher has performed better in more games than Saka this season, but so often this
says,
season,
I would say.
I would say. Do you know what's interesting with Saka? I mean, he's obviously Conor Gallagher is playing in a worse team than Arsenal and performing to a very high. He's been sensational this year, but I think he needs more games behind his belt to, again,
maybe more than one season, because again, Saka was doing it last season, but he didn't have the goals.
Exactly.
Trent and Foden have been longer, so
that's exactly what I was.
Yeah, that's fine, and that's why I put Foden and Trent above Saka. See, you guys are coming for me like I said it. Like
Jay,
I didn't.
Jay. I was about to say what you cut in and said. You finished my sentence for me. Like he needs more
KJ
games.
just was like, well, Foden and da-da-da-da. Like,
yeah, I don't say
I said that. Like,
what
is the big deal? Like, I really feel like
the big deal is, Jay, do you know what the big deal is for me? And this is it.
Soul said it.
No one said that. We know.
Jay. We know Sol said it, and thousands of others. I saw it all across Twitter yesterday. That isn't the point. The point that people laugh at. It's a bit like the other day when the gal got laughed at for saying that Chelsea fans get too carried away. They didn't laugh at his opinion. They laughed at the irony. The reason that it frustrates me is when you guys have something good happening and people put it down, or they start laughing at you when things go wrong. It's like, why do we get all this banter? When your fans say things like Saka's clear of every other youngster in England, people hold that and go, right, when something goes wrong, we're all coming for you. But then you moan that people come for you. If you're going to put out the banter and you're going to give it in these moments, in the ascendancy, you have to take it in reverse and just on the chin without moaning about it. That's why. That's the frustrating bit. Saka gets treble teamed. Trent doesn't with Salah on the same wing. Saka performs brilliant.
The nuances
Many youngsters get the same. I don't know why Arsenal fans are getting hyped up when they are probably going to get passed around more than a basketball in the Champions League.
At least they're getting Champions League.
Yeah, I ain't laughing. I'm not laughing.
I'd rather be in it than not.
They straight faced. That was
funny. Lucky to have so many elite youngsters in the Prem, Terry. Appreciate YouTube polls are limited, but should include Smith Rowe, Reeces James, Livramento, Gallagher, and more. Do you know what? Over Foden. Interesting. Listen, I can't
Wait,
include
is it Melia?
Melia.
Based on this season, he said, based on this season.
Based on this
Melia
Melia's
has
letting
a-
about 100
Wait,
goals. I know it's
Wait, the
not his
goalkeeper.
fault, though.
Let me get it right. The goalkeeper Melia.
Yeah,
better
for Leeds
footballer than
United.
Foden.
Yeah.
He's a better footballer than Foden. Okay, but by the way, Emil Smith Rowe, I actually think on ability wise, I find him even better than Saka.
Same.
I think
Same. I would agree with that as well. I would agree with
Talent
that
wise,
as
I
well.
find him better. But
Wait.
what Saka's
We also
added,
have Odegaard as well. Like, don't sleep on him. Like,
How old is he? Is he
He's
22?
he's 23. He's
Wow, okay.
23.
Oh,
fair enough.
You've got,
Yeah.
listen, you're young players are
He's
sick,
very,
man.
very, he's very. Do you know what? Sometimes you feel like he's older because man's been around since he was 15. 9
Yeah.
years we've known about this guy, so he always feels older. But yeah, like listen, Emil Smith Rowe needs to add though the most important part to an attacker's game, which Saka's done. It's output. You have to. I don't disagree with Pep.
Smith Rowe's got more goals, you know.
Yeah, Smith Rowe's got 9 goals.
Yeah, but that's
Smith Rowe's got 9 goals.
Smith
this year.
Rowe has 9
Yes,
goals, but Saka has the goals plus assists, and Saka's
2 and
our
5.
most Saka's
2
our
and 5.
most important player. Like any Arsenal player, like any Arsenal fan knows that. Like Smith Rowe is amazing, but nothing happens on that pitch if Saka's
Yeah,
not.
he has scored goals. I mean, a couple of them have been decisive. I feel like some of the goals where he came on, some of the games that you're already winning, and he kind of added. I'm not saying they're not goals, but Saka for me is just a little bit. His goals and assists often I feel like a little bit more clutch and a little bit more clinical. I could be wrong, and someone could put the stats out and be, "No, you're actually wrong. Smith Rowe's better." But equally, I think they're both fantastic. But just how it feels when I'm watching it. Odegaard should be on the list, 23 and under. A good choice. I mean, I couldn't fit all of them on there. You can only get 4 names on the YouTube poll. Trent has most assists in the Prem.
That's what I
Guys,
said.
get your facts right. Saka is younger than Foden. Fair enough.
Yeah.
You have skipped nobody. You have skipped. Nobody's listening is what's being said there.
Put that
Foden
on a
and Trent
t-shirt.
better than Saka, but went in the England team to outperform both. Salty. Arsenal fans playing the
It's true though. Saka was better than them.
Yeah,
in
the England team that
squad.
didn't win anything, but okay. All right. Cool.
Oh, so now that they didn't win anything, it doesn't matter that Saka was better than them? Stop. Okay.
No.
move on.
What I'm saying is they're bringing up a point where Foden and Trent have been more consistently better than Saka, but because of this one England stint, Saka's now better than both of them. It just makes no sense.
Arsenal fans displaying the victim mentality again, do the same thing to other rivals and then cry milk. Did the same towards Sancho. I could have put Sancho on the list as well, but the reason I left Sancho out, again, I just feel like he's not been in the Prem long enough to be on the list. And again, I'm very fair in that. Like, it's not about trying to elevate. Plus, I'm not promoting anything positive about my club at the minute. None of them deserve it. Like, none of them deserve it. They've got to take that one 110%. Emil Smith Rowe is not overrated.
He's a good player, man. He's a very
All
good player.
Chelsea fans feel that way because George said that he was better than Kai Havertz.
It's not all Chelsea fans.
Okay, well, Chelsea fans, since that's how we do it. Chelsea fans, yeah.
You're the one who started
Chelsea.
this culture, and I'm just reiterating what you said.
All I'm saying is that Chelsea fans are saying it. You know, they're the ones who get mad because I think it's also because he came from your guys' academy.
Did he?
I think that's yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
He was a Chelsea boy.
We had everyone. Just know we had everyone.
Yeah.
Interesting indeed. Right, what we looking at here? Any more comments coming in? No, cool. Anything from you to add from yourself, Cal? You've been fairly quiet the last 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, I think we all know who I'm going for with this. Like, I think it's the obvious choice, to be honest. Like, again, what gets me with this Saka stuff is I rate Saka highly, and anyone who watches my show will let you know I rate him highly. I want him at Liverpool. I rate him very highly. The problem is we come up with these narratives after 1 or 2 games. Like, and again, no disrespect to Arsenal, no disrespect to Saka, but we're saying and calling him a star boy based on a win against Watford. Is that
It's
what
not,
we're
it's
doing?
the entire
No,
season.
hear me out, Jess, hear me out. And again, remember, I'm saying I rate him highly enough that I want him at my football club and think he would be competitive at my football club. The problem I've got is we're talking about Trent and Foden in the same category. For me, it's a non-starter in my opinion. Saka's been very good this season, but it wasn't that long ago at the beginning of the season up until maybe December where fans were like, what's Saka doing? What does he do? And again, Patrick, no
Everybody goes
disrespect to
through
the whole.
bad form.
No, but this is my point. So again, Patrick, no disrespect to you, the whole stat stuff, but even the stat stuff doesn't really wash with me because again, stats have to be contextualized and eye test is subjective. You have to use both together. So my case in point to back that up is Sancho scored a goal yesterday, but Grealish was the better player despite getting a goal or an assist yesterday. So just because one player is getting more goals and assists doesn't mean they're having a better season than another player. My point with this is Trent and Foden have been doing this for years. And again, I know what the flip argument is. Trent and Foden are in better teams. Saka's not. But on the other side, Trent and Foden are in better teams and starring for those teams, whereas Saka is in less of a team, so he's getting more opportunities than maybe he would have at a better team at a younger age. So the coin has two sides to it. Once again, to reiterate, I rate Saka. I rate him highly. For me, he's not in the conversation yet with Foden and Trent because I think he needs to do it for longer because those two boys have done it for longer.
Oh, wait, Callum, just a quick question. Where do you have Reeces James in all of this?
In the list, probably 9th or 10th. Joking. Nah, he's for me. So if I'm gonna have Trent top, I'm gonna have Foden second. I may have Saka third, and then probably Reece. Another player I think's gone under the radar, Pedro Neto. I think before his injury, he was absolutely sensational as well. Yeah. But because of the injury, he's kind of fallen out of the conversation.
He's starting to cook.
He's got it as well.
You know, he's starting to cook, and if they keep him,
he's the one I want at the club. I have a full strong agenda for Neto and have done for a while. So KJ, I'm gonna need you to step out of this combo.
Jacob Ramsey. No.
Jacob Ramsey, yes, thank you.
No, Ramsey's sick as well. Obviously, Bummy boy in that. Chelsea have got this striker alone at Southampton.
I was going to say that.
If they keep him, if Chelsea keep him, because there's rumors about him leaving, if Chelsea keep him and actually play him, fam, their striking issues.
They'll sell him for 90 million and no one will question the deal.
I'll tell you whose name though. That it hasn't been mentioned. I think he's like Trent. He's going to go out this conversation next year, and I think who's been the best young player in the league this year, 23 and under, has been Declan Rice. I think Declan Rice is just a stat, like overall league, not on form in the last sort of 2 or 3 months, especially. I just feel like in the last 2 or 3 years, Declan Rice can be in this conversation. I can't wait to see him from a football standpoint in an elite team. So don't go to Man United, son, because you won't be in an elite team. Like go to I could see him play for anyone's. Like he could get into the City midfield. He could get into Liverpool's. He definitely gets into Tottenham's and Man United's.
I'm even angry. The comments have even reminded me, but I'm angry I didn't even bring this up. But Olise as well for
Olise, seriously.
I had him on this. And Eze when he was fit as well.
What I will say though about players
too young in terms of first season.
But I also think when you're at these clubs though, one thing I say about when you're at the lesser clubs is when you're who plays low block against Palace. So you need to sometimes, it's a bit like defenders when you're in a team that plays low block can be very much protected. Why Dan Burns impressed me, he's playing in a team that's a little bit more expansive, but you never know how good a player is until they're exposed to one-on-one, a defender is until they're exposed to one-on-one defending 5-10 times a game. That's why we've seen Maguire at Man United get exposed over the years because he ain't that good. When he was at Leicester and protected by the system, England under Southgate, protected by the system, he stands out. He really, really does. I also, by the way, on the Smith Rowe thing, somebody sent me through a link to the goals he scored. Only 3 times this season where he's come on and kind of scored. I'm not going to say they're unimportant, all goals matter, but where he scored like the 5th of 5 or the 4th of 4. He's done it 3 of the 9 times. So actually a little bit less than I thought he did, to be fair. So he scored a few more than I thought, to be fair. So I stand corrected on that. And I'll apologize for getting that slightly wrong, as I always do. If you show me the facts, I'll change my mind because I ain't weird like that. Did I miss any of these super chats? No, I didn't. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, a massive thank you to each and every single one of you. Please check out SPITCH, powered by Jurgen Klopp, brand new football fantasy app available in our comment section or in the link below, or of course in the description. Get it downloaded now with my exclusive link and follow my community pages for the Champions League and Premier League to join my mini leagues over there. What does it say here?
There's two.
I'll say Salah and Sadio out for 4 weeks.
Long-term injuries.
What was it? Was there another one you just put up? Sorry, I just knocked it off. KJ, are Arsenal back?
They're more back than United. That is for sure. They're more back than us,
bruv. Man United ain't back. We're pancakes, bruv. We're pancakes. That's all we got.
I'm telling you, fam. We're in the grave, fam. We need a funeral in the summer.
Anyways, everyone who's tuned in, thank you. Take care of yourselves. My panel tonight has been amazing. Probably my most favorite show, actually. Loved it.